2 men were gunned down at a car wash near Suitland Parkway yesterday afternoon, climaxing 4 days of violence in Prince George's County in which 8 persons died of stabbing or gunshot wounds. Police said 50 rounds of semi-automatic weapon ammunition were fired during the early afternoon shooting at Sam's Self-Serve Wash, at 3437 Branch Avenue, about a mile from the district line. Police identified one of the victims as Timothy Brunell Cohen, 24, of 2386 Anvil Lane, Temple Hills. Police said the second victim would have to be identified by fingerprints. Witnesses and police said the 2 men were standing by a car in the front parking lot when 2 other men approached and one opened fire. "There were people washing their cars and everything," said Sergeant Chuck Cook, a spokesman for the Prince George's County Police Department. It was the second double homicide in 2 days in the county, which has recorded 119 homicides so far this year, compared with 96 at this time last year and 122 during 1990. The annual record of 127 homicides was reached in 1989. The self-service car wash, which opened in 1981 as part of an area chain, is in a shopping strip that includes a video store, an aquarium and pet shop, a laundromat, a Sizzler steakhouse and a McDonald's. A drive-through car wash, also called Sam's and owned by the same company, is less than a block away. Heavily traveled Branch Avenue, a major road into southern Maryland, was gridlocked yesterday afternoon and buses were rerouted as police tried to find and interview witnesses. Police said one of the gunmen apparently fled on foot. They also issued a tentative lookout for a green Toyota 4Runner. It was not the first time that deadly violence has visited the area, with its commercial strip on Branch Avenue and residential sections of garden apartments and modest brick houses. In the last 3 years, fatal shootings have occurred nearby outside a nightclub called Gerald's, in the parking lot of the Skate Palace skating rink, and at the McDonald's, where gunfire from a passing car killed 1 man and wounded another. "It's the same old thing," said the owner of Barney's Aquarium and Pets store, who declined to give his name. "It's sort of like people are getting used to it." An off-duty district police officer working as a security guard at the video store said of the deadly violence at the car wash, "It was like a time bomb waiting to happen." He also declined to give his name. But while the other shootings occurred at night, yesterday's slayings appeared to fit an emerging pattern of fatal violence occurring in public places in broad daylight, most visibly in the district. Recent daylight shootings, attributed by district police to disputes over drugs, have occurred near public schools, including Dunbar and Wilson High, on street corners and outside public housing projects. Police called to the car wash at 1:34 p.m. yesterday found the 2 victims, both in their 20s, on the ground, one next to the driver's door and the other next to the passenger's door of a 1984 gray Plymouth Horizon. According to state motor vehicle records, the car is registered to a woman in Fort Washington. She could not be reached for comment yesterday evening. According to police spokeswoman Carol Landrum, the 2 victims were standing and talking to each other by the car in the front parking lot when 2 other men approached and one opened fire. One of the gunmen was then seen walking calmly through a car wash stall into the rear area. The gunfire could be heard at the nearby Rayco Auto Care store, where an employee, who declined to give his name, said, "It sounded like thunder, a whole lot of thunder." A witness who identified himself as Charles Ross told WUSA-TV, Channel 9, that he drove by and saw 3 men standing by the Plymouth before the shooting. Ross said he went into a nearby shop to get a sandwich and then ran to the car wash after the shooting. The man next to the driver's side was lying on his back, Ross said. His jacket had been pulled over his face, but it was obvious he had been shot. "I ran around to the other side, took the pulse of that individual. He was outright dead. The first man was still breathing," Ross said. "By then," he said, "the parking lot was completely bare. You could have fired rounds and hit nobody. Everybody had scattered. After looking around, I found close to 20 rounds of expended shells on the ground."